Elena's heart is now trapped in Alessio's dangerous world. But these chapters will uncover a secret that could destroy everything. Chapter 6. Between Fear and Fascination. The Romano estate was too quiet at night. Elena sat by the window of her gilded cage, staring out at the moonlit gardens, every part of her aching to escape. Yet every time she even thought of running, her mind replayed the image of those men in the alley, the way they had looked at her, as if she were prey. Alessio had saved her. But Alessio was also the reason she was here. The door creaked open, and she stiffened. He entered without knocking, his presence filling the room. Dressed in black, his features sharp in the dim light, he looked like both savior and executioner. "You should sleep," he said, his voice calm. Her chin lifted. "Hard to sleep when you've been kidnapped." His lips curved slightly. "I call it protection." "Against who?" "You," she shot back. For a moment, silence hung heavy between them. Then he stepped closer, eyes locking onto hers. "Against everyone who wants to hurt you. And there are many." Elena's breath caught. She wanted to hate him, to scream at him. But there was something in his voice, something raw, something real that made her chest tighten. "Why me?" she whispered. Alessio studied her for a long moment. Then, with a softness that contradicted his entire being, he murmured, "Because I can't ignore you." Her heart stuttered. She hated the way those words made her feel. Hated the warmth spreading through her, even as fear tangled in her veins. She turned away quickly, refusing to let him see her weakness. But Alessio saw it, and it only drew him closer. Chapter 7. The Enemy Strikes. The night was shattered by gunfire. Elena jolted awake to the sound of chaos outside her window. Shouts, screams, the echo of bullets, ripping through the estate's silence. Her heart slammed against her ribs. The door burst open, and Alessio stormed in, his gun in hand. His expression was lethal, but his first words were for her. "Stay down." She barely had time to react before he pulled her behind him, shielding her with his body as another round of shots cracked through the hall. Guards rushed past the door, returning fire. "What's happening?" she cried. "The Morettis," Alessio growled. "They came for you." The words struck like ice. For her, in the chaos, he dragged her through hidden corridors, his grip tight on her wrist. Every step, every turn, was a reminder of the world he ruled, the world of shadows, violence, and power. When they finally reached a safe room, Alessio slammed the door shut, locking it. His chest heaved, his shirt stained with dust and blood. Elena pressed herself against the wall, trembling. "They tried to kill me." Alessio's jaw tightened, his eyes burning. "No, they tried to take you." He moved closer, his voice low, dangerous. "And I won't let them." For the first time, Elena saw not just the ruthless heir, but the man beneath, the one who would burn the world before letting it touch her. Chapter 8. The Choice. The attack left the estate scarred, but Alessio more determined than ever. He stood in his office, maps spread out, planning retaliation. Elena lingered at the door, torn between fear and a strange, dangerous trust. "You can't fight a war because of me," she said softly. Alessio looked up, his gaze sharp. "This war was already coming. You just made it personal." Her chest tightened. She didn't want to be the reason blood spilled. But when she looked into his eyes, she saw no hesitation. Only fire. "You have a choice, Elena," he said, stepping closer. "Stay in this world with me, and I'll protect you. Leave, and you won't survive a day." Her heart raced. Was it a choice, or a cage with prettier words? She wanted to scream that she wanted her life back, her freedom. But deep inside, another truth whispered freedom had already been stolen the moment she met his eyes. And a part of her wasn't sure she wanted it back. Chapter 9. A Kiss of Hate. The argument started over dinner. "You don't own me," Elena snapped, shoving her plate away. Alessio leaned back, his gaze dark and unreadable. "I saved your life, more than once. That earns me the right to protect you." "Protect," she spat. "You mean control." The room grew heavy, thick with unspoken tension. She rose to leave, but his hand shot out, gripping her wrist. The fire in her eyes clashed with the storm in his. "Don't walk away from me," he growled. Something inside her snapped. She shoved against him, fury burning through her veins. "I hate you." His grip tightened, his face close to hers, and before either could stop it, his lips crashed against hers. It was not gentle. It was war. Elena fought him, but her body betrayed her. The heat, the hunger, the terrifying rush it consumed her. When he finally pulled away, she was breathless, shaken. "This is what hate feels like," Alessio murmured, his voice rough. "And it tastes like fire." She stared at him, trembling. She should despise him. But her lips still burned with the memory of his. Chapter 10: Secrets Revealed. The storm came the next morning, not outside, but within. Marco entered Alessio's study, handing him a file. "We found something. About her father." Alessio flipped it open, his eyes narrowing. Photographs, documents, deals signed in blood. Elena's father hadn't been an innocent man. He had been tied to the Moretti family all along. Later, when Alessio confronted her, she felt the ground slip from beneath her feet. "My father," she whispered, staring at the damning evidence. "He wasn't who you thought," Alessio said coldly. "Your innocence doesn't erase his sins." Tears burned her eyes. She wanted to deny it, to scream that it wasn't true. But the truth was written in black and white. Alessio watched her break, his chest tight with something he refused to name. He should have used this against her. He should have pushed her away. Instead, he reached out, brushing a tear from her cheek. "You're not him, Elena, you're mine." The words shattered her completely, because for the first time, she wasn't sure if she wanted to resist anymore. Chapter 11: Blood Feud. Dawn brought violence. Gunshots echoed beyond the Romano gates, the scent of gunpowder heavy in the air. Elena watched from the window, heart racing as Alessio armed himself, dressed in black, deadly as a phantom. "The Morettis struck first," he told her, sliding a pistol into his holster. "Now it's my turn." "You're going to war," she whispered. His gaze softened only for her. "War came to us. Bella, stay here. Do not move." But safety was an illusion. From her balcony, she saw flashes of fire, men falling, Alessio at the center of chaos like a god of wrath. She pressed her hands to the glass, panic tearing at her. Then explosions shook the ground. Enemy men stormed the estate, bullets flying. A guard pulled her away just as a window shattered. In the chaos, she realized the truth. She was no longer outside of this feud. She was in the center, her bloodline, the very spark that fueled it. Chapter 12: Chains of Desire. Night fell heavy after the battle. The estate survived, but blood stained the marble floors. Alessio returned, bruised, his shirt torn, eyes dark with exhaustion and fury. Elena ran to him before she could stop herself, her hands trembling as they touched his arm. "You could have died." He caught her wrist, pulling her against him. "But I didn't, because I had a reason to fight." Her breath caught. "Alessio." He kissed her, rough and consuming, tasting of smoke and hunger. She melted into him, every wall she had built collapsing. The world outside was fire and death, but in his arms she felt alive, untouchable. When he broke the kiss, his forehead rested against hers. "Stop lying to yourself, Elena. You're mine, and you feel it too." She closed her eyes, her heart breaking with the truth. She could no longer deny a desire had chained her to the man she should hate, and she didn't want to escape anymore. Chapter 13: Betrayal Within. The following days carried a strange calm, yet whispers slithered through the Romano estate. One evening, Alessio's consigliere stormed into his office with grim news. "We were ambushed again. Someone leaked our roots." Alessio's jaw tightened. "Who?" A pause. Then a name fell like a dagger. "Marco, one of your own men." Elena's blood ran cold. She had seen Marco before, loyal, respectful. The idea of betrayal seemed impossible. But Alessio's expression was carved in stone. When Marco was dragged before him, Alessio's voice was deadly quiet. "You fed my enemies information. Why?" Marco's eyes flickered toward Elena, guilt flashing before his lips curved into a smirk. "Because she's your weakness. The Morettis will tear you apart through her." Elena's stomach twisted. Alessio's fury erupted, violence swift and merciless. The betrayal cut deep. But worse was the truth. In Marco's words, Lena had become Alessio's greatest vulnerability. Chapter 14: A Lover's Threat. The night after the betrayal, Alessio found Elena in her room, staring at the moonlight as if searching for escape. He closed the door behind him, his shadow filling the space. You saw what loyalty costs in my world. Betrayal has one price. She shivered. And what about me, Alessio? What if I betray you without meaning to? What if just existing puts you at risk? In 2 strides, he was in front of her, his hand gripping her jaw gently but firmly. His eyes burned with a promise that was both terrifying and intoxicating. If I lose you, he whispered, his lips brushing hers, the world burns. I will burn it myself. Her breath hitched, torn between fear and desire. His vow wasn't love. It was obsession, raw and dangerous. And yet, in that moment, Elena realized she was already too far gone to turn back. Chapter 15: The Escape Attempt. The moon was high when Elena slipped from her room, heart pounding against her ribs. She had memorized the guards' rotations, the quiet moments in the halls, the paths that led to the gates. Tonight she would be free. Her bare feet padded silently across marble. She clutched the small bag she had packed money she had stolen from Alessio's drawer. A change of clothes, nothing more. At the final door she paused, pressing her palm against the wood. Her chest ached. Why did leaving feel like tearing out part of herself? Running, Bella. His voice froze her blood. Alessio emerged from the shadows, his figure tall, terrifying, heartbreakingly magnetic. He had been waiting. Her breath caught. I can't stay here. You've caged me. He stepped forward, eyes like burning coal. The world outside will devour you. And I, his hand cupped her cheek roughly, will never let you go. Tears blurred her vision. She wanted freedom, yet his pull was stronger than chains. Her escape died that night not because he stopped her, but because her heart betrayed her will. Chapter 16: Death's Door. Days later, death came for her. It happened suddenly in ambush while she rode in Alessio's car. A spray of bullets shattered glass, the air filled with smoke and screams. Elena felt fire rip through her shoulder, the world spinning as pain stole her breath. She collapsed into Alessio's arms. His face, usually carved from stone, broke with raw terror. Stay with me, Elena. Don't you dare close your eyes. She tried to speak, but blood filled her throat. Darkness pulled her under. Hours later, in a blood-scented room, she awoke to find him beside her, his hands stained, his shirt torn. His head was bowed, his voice hoarse. You nearly died because of me, he whispered. I can face bullets, betrayal, hell itself, but not losing you. For the first time, she saw Alessio not as a monster, but as a man brought to his knees by love he could not control. Chapter 17: Blood Oath of Love. The night after her recovery, Alessio brought her to the chapel deep within the estate. Candles burned, the air heavy with incense and silence. He pulled a dagger from his belt, slicing his palm open without hesitation. Blood dripped onto the stone floor. His eyes locked on hers, fierce, unwavering. By blood, he swore, his voice echoing. I vow to protect you until death claims me. You are mine, Alani, body, soul, and fate. Her breath trembled. He pressed the dagger into her hand. Swear it back. Her fingers shook, but she cut her palm, the sting sharp and real. When her blood mingled with his, he lifted her hand and pressed it to his chest. In that moment, Elena knew this was no ordinary love. It was dark, eternal, binding her not just to him, but to the shadows he ruled. Chapter 18: The Final Betrayal. Peace lasted only days before the final secret shattered everything. Elena found it in another file, hidden deeper than the rest. Her father had not been just an ally to the Romanos. He had been the man who orchestrated Alessio's father's assassination years ago. The truth struck like a blade to the heart. Her bloodline had murdered his. When Alessio learned, his fury shook the walls. His hands slammed against the desk, his eyes wild with rage. Your father killed mine, and you kept this from me. I didn't know, she cried, tears streaming. I only found out now. For a moment, silence hung heavy. Then Alessio gripped her arm, torn between love and hate. You are my salvation and my curse. Tell me, Elanish, should I kill you, or should I die with you? Her soul broke. She could only whisper, love me, even if it kills us both. Chapter 19. War exploded across Milan. Romano soldiers clashed with Moretti forces, blood spilling in streets and alleys. The feud had reached its end. At the heart of it, Alessio fought like a man possessed, Elena by his side despite his protests. Bullets rained, men fell, fire consumed the city. At last, Alessio stood over the Moretti Barcelona's uncle. His gun pressed to the man's temple, vengeance burning in his eyes. But Elena's hand touched his arm. If you kill him, the war never ends. For the first time, Alessio hesitated. His love for her tempered his rage. With a roar, he spared the man, but warned, the Moretti name is finished. Cross me again, and your bloodline ends. The war ended not in total slaughter, but in a victory sealed by restraint for her. Chapter 20 Epilogue. Love sealed in blood. Months later, peace cloaked the Romano estate, though scars remained. Elena stood in the chapel once more, her hand entwined with Alessio's. Their palms bore faint scars from the night of their oath, a reminder of the vow that bound them. You still regret it? He asked softly, his tone dangerous even in tenderness. She shook her head, eyes glistening. No, you're my darkness, Alessio, and I've stopped running from it. He kissed her, slow and consuming, sealing their love in blood and fire. The world outside would always whisper of shadows, but inside, they had carved their eternity. Not a fairy tale, not a happy ending, but theirs dark, eternal, unbreakable. The story of a blood oath that became love.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more dark romance tales. See you in the next video. Bye bye.